everyone. So I did a video a while back about modes of the major scale, and I wanted today to do a video all about the Dorian mode because it's such a commonly used mode and it's so useful and it's such a nice sound as well. It's like a minor sound, but it's not as dark as natural minor, also called Aeolian. So let's look at how we actually make Dorian first of all. So what we do is we take a major scale, and instead of starting on the root note of a major scale, we start on a different note. And that's what modes are. You're basically playing a major scale but starting on a different note. So for example, here's a G major scale. Familiar, right? Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. If I play the same thing but starting on, say, the second note, it sounds completely different, even though it's the same notes. So what we're doing is we're playing the second mode of the G major scale, A Dorian. Now you might be thinking, why not just call it G major? That doesn't acknowledge the fact that Dorian has its own thing going on, its own sound. And it's best when you're playing a mode not to have to keep relating back to where it came from. So if you're playing an A Dorian, so let's say you've got an A Dorian chord progression, you don't want to go, hang on, A Dorian, A, G, that's G major. That's too much thinking. You want to take A Dorian as its own thing with its own sound. So to understand any mode and why it has the sound it has, you need to compare to a parallel major scale, right? So this is an A major scale. Now when I played A Dorian, I had these notes. I had A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G, A. Okay, so when you compare it to my A major scale, A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G sharp, A, you'll notice there's two changes. I changed the third from C sharp to C. So Dorian has a flattened third when compared to its parallel major key. Because we've got A, B, C instead of C sharp, then D is normal, E is normal, F sharp is normal, and instead of G sharp, A Dorian has a G. Okay, so we've flattened the seventh note. So basically the formula for Dorian when compared to major is 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, 6, flat 7. And this doesn't sound as dark as natural minor, which would have a flat 6, a very depressing note. We've got a slight lift. So let's play this now across 2 octaves. This is going to be our main Dorian scale for now. Okay, now we could do that across the whole neck. But one thing at a time, just start somewhere really simple. And I really want you to focus on the fact that it's got a flat 3 and a flat 7. And that's why it works over minor 7 chords, because minor 7 chords, let's say A minor 7, has a flattened third and a flattened 7th. But how do we know when we can use Dorian? There's 3 minor modes. You've got Dorian, you've got Phrygian, and you've got Aeolian. So how do you know when to use which one? Well, it depends how your sort of home chord, your resolved chord, is functioning. If I've got an A minor 7 chord, that could be the 2nd chord in the key of G, it could be the 3rd chord in the key of F, or it could be the 6th chord in the key of C. Now, only when it's behaving as the 2 chord in the key of G would I play A Dorian. Okay, so you play Dorian, the 2nd mode, when a chord is behaving as the 2nd chord in a key. Of course, how do we actually know when a minor chord is behaving as a 2 chord? It can be a 2 chord, a 3 chord, or a 6 chord. Well, context is everything. You can look at the chords that come before or after a minor chord to know how it's behaving. For example, if you've got A minor and then D, you must have a Dorian chord progression because the key of G major is the only key that has both of those chords in it. And seeing as we're resolving on the A minor, the 2 chord, we need the 2 mode, the Dorian mode. Let's take another example. Let's say we've got a chord progression that goes A minor, F, G, A minor. In that case, the only time you'll see those 3 chords is in the key of C, also known as the key of A minor. They're the same notes. So in this case, the A minor is behaving as the 6th chord, and therefore we would play the 6th mode, provided of course that A minor chord is our resolving chord. If A minor was behaving as the 3rd chord in the key of F, you know because the other chords would tell you. For example, if you've got, say, F, B flat, C, and then resolve on the A minor, then those chords only belong in the key of F. You must be playing the 3rd mode of the key of F. So when we treat the 2nd chord of the key of G as our root note, as our home chord, we've got the 2nd mode, A Dorian. Okay. Now, if you were playing straight natural minor, you'd get very depressing kind of chord progressions like that kind of thing. But if you're playing over an A Dorian chord progression, you're using chords from the key of G. Okay, so you wouldn't have a D minor in there, you'd have a D major or a D7. So you'd have this kind of thing. Instead of a dark sounding minor chord progression, you get this lovely little lift. And that's a good clue, by the way, to not only hearing Dorian, that kind of lift, but spotting what it looks like. Whenever you see a minor chord going up a fourth to a major triad or a dominant 7 chord, you've got a Dorian-ism, a Dorian chord progression. So let's see what this sounds like. Let's put in my little looper here, some kind of Dorian chord progression. So we'll do the old classic one of going minor chord, then up a fourth to D. So I've got A minor and D. I won't do anything clever, I'll just go. It's looping. If I play my scale, it should work. And so on. Now I'm going to give you a great shortcut. What you can do to simplify this is just start with pattern 1 of the minor pentatonic scale and then just add notes to it when you feel comfortable. And one of my favourite notes to add is the natural 6. That's the kind of lifting note. So let me play again. Pattern 1. There's the extra note. And there again. Flat, natural 6. Natural 6. And this is a great rule for using modes in general. If you know the formula for a mode, you can take something that's more familiar to you and then just add to it when you're more comfortable. So for example, let's take another chord as a landmark, a starting point. So let's say we've got A minor up here using this A minor shape. Pattern 4 of the pentatonic scale always fits over that chord. I've done videos all about the minor pentatonic scales. And what you can do is you can just play pattern 4. And when you're feeling more comfortable, you can add to it notes like the natural 6. Okay, so the natural 6, here's the root note, by the way, the A. I've got 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, natural 6. There's a natural 6 here as well. So you could literally just add that note there. And there's one there as well. Of course, you can add all the other notes like the 2 and the 4 and the 5 and so on. But that natural 6 is just such a nice lift. So let's see what that sounds like using pattern 4 and just adding notes when I feel comfortable. And so on. Of course, another thing you could do is just arpeggiate the chords available to us in our key. So we know we've come from the key of G major. So all the chords we mentioned earlier, we can arpeggiate those. So we could play a little arpeggio of G, or G major 7. We could play an A minor, or A minor 7, B minor, or B minor 7, C major, or C major 7. We could play D, I could play that here, or D7. Play E minor, or E minor 7. We could play F sharp minor 7 flat 5, and back to G. I've also done videos all about arpeggio, so be sure to check that out. In fact, check out my entire course on music theory for guitarists, because it goes through this one step at a time. So when we get more familiar with these arpeggios, we can piece them all together quite randomly amongst our scales. So pentatonic pattern 1 and then maybe D7, A minor. You don't have to play those 2 chords just because the backing track is. You could play B minor, E minor, D7, G major 7 and so on. C major, D, A minor, off to our scale. Anyway, I hope that was useful too. If so, please click like and subscribe. You'd be helping me out massively. Thanks for watching and I'll see you next time.